Hi everyone, this is my continuation of how to make pan fries in the oven. So I've got these potatoes which I've cut, washed, and then left to drain. So just trying to get rid of most of the fluid, and not much comes out. There's maybe 3 tablespoons or something like that, but every little bit helps. So in general, the longer you can leave them before they start to go, brown or gray. And then I've got another big pan which I'm going to use for turning. So this is canola oil, which I've mentioned before, has a lot of, it helps you absorb a lot of vitamins, so it's fairly useful. You can put a fair bit in. And then I'll be using my well-seasoned cooking pan to cook those in the oven. And I've preheated the oven to, right now it looks like about 400. I'm not exact on this, it changes a little each time. So I try and kind of get the bigger ones first, and I make sure I get the skins first because I really like those. When the skins are cooked well, they're just wonderful. So I'll put those pan down first, and I really like them to have a fair bit of oil so they cook properly because when they're done well, they're one of the best parts of it, and if they're not done well, they're one of the worst parts of it. So essentially just slathering the bottoms of these in the oil first, and then once I get to the point where it's not, where I'm not able to really do this technique anymore, like where the oil starts to have all been absorbed, or there's just not enough room for me to soak the bottom, then I'll start kind of switching it up a bit. So I'll give these a quick stir. So there's tons of oil in there right now, so like covering these isn't really an issue. As the oil gets a little bit more, it's absorbed or coats the potatoes, you have to be a little bit more meticulous. So now what I'll do now is just make sure I rub each one down and then stir it in. So I basically rub it down with my hand, stir it in. And there's different techniques. I like this one. I can usually do this and only have one oily hand. So then I've got another hand that I can still get stuff done. And I'm trying not to rush because I know this is probably a little boring to just watch. But we're almost there, and then we'll move on to the next step. Quickly working those in. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing, kind of. Oops, I promised my son I wouldn't hum that, so I better stop. It's bad when a bad song has a catchy tune to it. And just a couple more left. Try and make sure these last ones don't end up falling in the water. At the bottom, you don't want, the water kind of just makes them, they don't absorb the oil as well. And it seems to adversely affect the cooking if there's too much water in there. Alright, so essentially I've got these in there. You can see, like, there'll be some greebly bits from the skin and stuff. It's kind of the nature of a French fry or a potato chip with the skin on. There's going to be a little bit of that going on. Alright, so now I'll move this to the opposite side that I usually work on. How's that look? It's kind of in view. Alright, so I think I mentioned before, it's nice when they stand up, and so some of these bigger ones, they're going to take longer to cook than these skinny ones. So like the really skinny ones that are going to fall down, I'll put on. And then you've got these wedge-shaped ones that'll cook somewhere in between. And then also sometimes length is an issue, like will it just, can I lay them out side by side? Or how to do it. And then, I'll grab some of those little bits of the skin that I don't want to show. And then, if I'm really on my game, I can kind of stack the thicker ones together because they may come out later, and it just makes it a bit easier to grab. When you're plating up, it's kind of nice if the ones that are ready are all together rather than having to pick through. And then, sometimes if I'm worried one's going to fall down, I'll put one that I know won't fall down in between it and the next one. Because it does affect how they cook. So you'll see I'm putting them skin down because I really want... The first, I'll put them in for about, 25 minutes to half an hour on the first side. So I really want the main part of the cooking to be on the skin side. And also the skin doesn't have as nice contact with the pan as the flat faces will. So they'll actually brown up much nicer when you get to the flat faces. So, it's just one of those things that I found with my oven. And, everybody's oven cooking techniques are going to be a little bit different. So I thought I didn't have enough, but I probably got too many. You know, and so sometimes you have to stack them quite close together, kind of shift them around a little bit. And then it sounds like, oh, perfect. So the oven just hit preheat. Now I actually used a little bit too much oil. So I'm going to, I'm just gonna squeegee that down and kind of coat them. You know, give them all, and this will just run down. Because my right hand is covered in oil, I'm using my left, and I'm not quite as good at this. Okay. All right. So essentially, those will those are nicely covered, ready to go in the oven. So open the oven. On my stove, the oven tends to brown the bottom fastest on the bottom shelf. So that's where I'm going to put those because I really want the browning on these. And you know, these are probably going to take 40 minutes total. So I'm going to set this up for, you know, as much as half an hour, but probably 25 minutes. And then I'll flip them onto one side and then flip them onto the other, and then they're ready. So I'll show you those stages later. Thank you for watching.